Hi, I'm Boysen, and I've been boiling in this sugar camp since about 1986. I helped the Fortunes when they had the old wood-fired evaporator in here, and when Ray and Jamie built the new camp down the road, I was able to put my little evaporator in here. So this is my operation. So I'm the Shantyman. The best part about syrup season for me is the anticipation, looking forward to it in the springtime. It gets into your blood, you want to do it. You know, that February to April period, you'll find me here every weekend. This is a wood-fired evaporator. It works on exactly the same principles as evaporators have been working on since about 1890. So this idea of this pan, front pan and back pan, when you go up to the kettle boys, you can see there's a bunch of smart old guys standing around looking at cast iron pots thinking there's got to be a better way of boiling this stuff faster. So they invented this evaporator system, which has a back pan, and the idea of the back pan is to get rid of water as quickly as possible. It looks like it's a small little pan. And you were asking about, you know, how come it has two sides to it? Well, the way it works is, if you look outside, I have a trough of sap on the hill, and that's my supply. You can see it out the window there. And it's higher than my pan is. So the sap feeds in by gravity through that blue pipeline that comes through the wall. I'm trying to keep a constant flow of sap coming into the system, so I've got this float box over here on the side of the pan. So as I evaporate water out of this, the back pan, the little float will drop, allowing the equivalent volume of raw sap to come into the system. So once I have that level set, I can really concentrate on boiling at the front end and not worry about the back end. This back pan has a unique feature in that if you were to look at it, I've got a stick here. It's got two different layers to it, two levels. So if you look here, I'm kind of poking the stick and it's at the top end. So I've got about 2 inches of liquid on top of the pan. But if I go over just a little bit, it drops down to about 6 inches. So the pan is like an accordion that's being squeezed together. So the sap sits down in that notch, and it actually increases my surface area of oil tremendously. So if I were to have the equivalent size of a flat pan, it'd have to be 12 feet wide, you know, and so this is a very efficient method of boil. The other neat thing about this pan is you can see there's no fire underneath it, and yet it's boiling pretty vigorously. And that's because of the way that the firebox is designed. I got this small little fire at the front end, and I put all these small sticks in, like cedar and pine and things that just jump into flame as soon as I put it on the fire. But I've also got this huge tall chimney. So this chimney creates this huge updraft, and it's basically sucking the flames from my small fire there through this back pan. And so you remember I told you the pan is like an accordion. Each one of those things underneath is like a little chimney raceway, so fires are being drawn equally through the back pan like that. So the sap will come into the system through a delivery tube into one corner of the pan, and it flushes the thicker, hotter sap around into this corner of the pan. So I'm not trying to get it all boiled down into syrup all at once, I'm trying to get it through as quickly as possible. So if I were to track a sugar molecule coming in as raw sap, it would come in here, push up 4 feet, travel down 4 feet before it gets taken into the front pan. And the front pan is divided into 4 compartments. So that sugar molecule would travel 16 feet in this evaporator, 4 up and 4 down in the evaporator pan, and 8 feet total in the finishing pan. This is the concentrated sap in this corner. And as I evaporate more out of the finishing pan, I need to keep this level of liquid constant too. So what's happening is I've got the 2 pans connected by this valve system and this float here. So you just have a look inside. You can see the trickle of sap there. That's equal to the rate of evaporation out of here. So I'm taking concentrated sap and constantly topping up my almost finished product. See, if I were to drop liquid down and the float would drop, you'd see how much more. So when I draw up at the other end and it drops the whole liquid down, that float drops, allowing the same volume of concentrated sap to come into the system.
What is science?
Thickens up, the boiling point increases. So the boiling point of water is nominally 212 degrees Fahrenheit. The boiling point of syrup is exactly 7 degrees Fahrenheit higher than the boiling point of water. So I calibrate my thermometers each morning because it's not always 212, and I want to make sure I get exactly 7 degrees higher than water to know that I've got the right sugar and water in concentration. So what happens is this stuff starts rolling through. I'm almost at syrup in this last chamber, which is as far away as from where it came into the evaporator as possible. I have my thermometer set here, my syrup thermometer. You can see it says 0 and up to 7, so that's the 7 plus 7, and it's reading 5 degrees right now. So what I'll do is I'll open up the valve here and draw off some of the almost finished syrup. And I'll do that because it's a lot easier for me to finish off my syrup. You can still see it's reading at 5. I'll shut it down there. Now the liquid should have dropped, and see how much more water's coming in now because the liquid dropped. So that's how the whole system works. It's just, it's mechanical. It's all level. I'm not forcing anything through other than by firing it up with wood at the front end and sap at the back end. So what I'll do with this is I come over here and I dump this into there, and I'll finish off the syrup on propane. Because the last degree of temperature is so critical between syrup and not syrup,
Right.
and it's too hard to do on wood. So we use small little pieces of cedar and pine, and I build this little cabin in here. Got my welder gloves on. I don't burn my fingers. Shut the door. Let that ignite. As soon as that wood ignites, the boil jumps up again. And I'm trying to keep that heat underneath the front part because I need more heat under the finished syrup than I do at the back.
Cheers.
So it's probably an amber. That's what we're making today. So
Wonderful.
lots of maple flavor to it.